All right, hey, welcome friends. I have a fun little presentation for you here today. And yes, it does have to do with science, but that doesn't mean it's boring and unfun. Science can be a delightful thing if we're safe and respectful, all right? So today we're going to be looking at a little thing called Mozart's tick, as you can see here. And as you might think, it's obviously a common misunderstanding. It doesn't actually belong to Mozart, and of course it's also not actually a tick, but we all know that, of course. It's actually a mite in the arachnid family, and it's about this big. It would fit in between my fingertips there. This was discovered in 1908 by Bob Mephibosheth Mozart, hence the name, no relation. Actually, Bob may have actually been a distant relation. Now that I think of it, I should actually look into that. But these are actually fairly common. You don't see them very often just because we're not looking closely, kind of like the little spiders that live in your eyelashes, right? Maybe I'll do another episode on those. But they're beautiful creatures, and so I just wanted to do a little make a little presentation for you here so we can learn a little bit, okay? And so I've made some illustrations, and I'll show you how I drew the illustrations, because as I draw them here, as you can see, you can kind of see how, like, I started with the basic parts of them. Just like our bodies, the Mozart's tick is built up in layers. There's different membranes and layers of skin and more membranes and other little molecules and stuff like that. It's really delightful. Now, the natural habitat of Mozart's tick is in the hems of clothes and the kind of the deeper, darker crooks and crannies of various animals, like maybe dog armpits and groins, stuff like that. And it does have a lot of mannerisms and habits that would remind someone of a tick. Now, when Bob Mozart discovered Mozart's tick, he was just a beginner. He had just joined the local Arcadian club, so he wasn't brushed up on all the ins and outs of telling ticks from mites. So it's understandable that he got these confused when he named it or identified it, but he was the first one to find one of these. Yeah, legend tells that he had 3 magnifying glasses taped together just to see one, barely. They're pretty small. Obviously, we all know that a tick and a mite is very different in the sense that, one has just like one singular part of the body, and then the other has 2 distinct sections of their bodies. Just like an ant, on the other hand, has 3 different sections of their body, the head and the middle part and the thorax, right? Anyways, I'm sure Bob got made fun of a little bit for his nomenclature faux pas, but we still remember him today with the name of this thing. I just hope he didn't get too many wedgies by the coffee table of the Arachnid Society club meeting. Maybe one day I'll find a mite or a tick, previously unseen, previously unknown. I wonder, they could be crawling around me all right now, crawling all over my body. Ticks and mites and little aphids and bugs, too small to see. Could be, they're probably all over me. Known and unknown. Anyways, let's look. Here's like a whole picture of it, like a zoomed out view, still very zoomed in, of course. You can see here we have the supracolloidal serotype, the ovoid pulvilli, interior gnathosoma, and the polyfloral gut bouquet. To identify some other parts of Mozart's tick, we need to look very closely, extremely closely. In fact, we have the 200% zoom here, 200x zoom, excuse me. All right, here we have the homebrew spinal lattice. This is crucial in The ticks search for food each day. The stomach heart, self-explanatory. The large and imposing lymphatic grooves. The bone bludgeon. The fertilization sac. I can't talk about that one on a family-friendly YouTube channel. These are the rapid release vitality pods. The particular area, tripping over my own tongue tonight. The particular arterioles, right here. Going on down, the spectral blebbing. This goes all along the whole distance of the tick. The spectral blebbing, it's this green stuff here you see on the top one. Spectral blebbing goes all along here. The non-cancerous freckles, which is a huge relief that that's benign. Unprotected airways, it just breathes through its skin, through its legs like a grasshopper. Ocular lobes down here, they're actually too small to see, even 200% zoom, but they're in there, it's around there somewhere. The flagellate colonies, the kidney bladder. When you're such a small organism, sometimes you conserve space by combining organs, so maybe we would have a kidney and a bladder. They have a kidney bladder. They have a stomach heart, right? And so on and so forth to save space, just like I have my studio in my kitchen. And down here we have the rough starchy membrane that goes along the outside edge. That's the red stuff and actually the white stuff and actually also the blue stuff and the green stuff also. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, it's all over us too. Everything's all over us. So the tick moves around by kind of like a mix between a seahorse and a jellyfish and, well, an actual horse. Kind of a weird galloping, flopping motion through both the air and across our skin and through our clothes and probably through your bedding and stuff like that. But when it bites you, you can't feel it. It doesn't hurt. It's just laying eggs with its mouth and its saliva and stuff. So I wouldn't worry about that. It's completely innocuous and it's not painful at all, they say. But we're still doing some research, okay? We have crucial scientific data here. I've taken the time to compile this. Here's some right here. You can see this part of the graph. See where these two lines cross. All right. And then up here, see, some of these sections overlap, and you need to pay attention to these because this is like a very complicated Venn diagram in a way with multiple areas, multiple sections, a lot going on, and there's a lot you can learn from this. 12.7. All right, and here's just like the raw data if you want to, or if you have the ability and the time and the know-how and, well, if you care enough to interpret this yourself, then you can go ahead and compile this into your own spreadsheet or whatever. Anyways, I think that's all. Yeah. Anyways, so also be very careful because on the back of this, there's like a lot of, all my pins are sticking through. It's very sharp. So when you do, even just doing research on Mozart's tick can be hazardous. And I learned that the hard way. Also, hot glue guns, I learned. It's possible to put glue sticks in here that don't work very well. Some glue sticks are too slippery. And it doesn't grip or something. And you just sit here doing this all day, not accomplishing anything, wondering why it's not working. You're like sticking your finger in. Anyways, I'm not blaming the tick. I have a special thing for you here. This right here, I did a lot of research. Okay. Oh, camera 2, I think right here. Yeah, check this out, boys and girls. This right here is actually what a Mozart's tick, like ceremonial burial urn looks like. I've gone to the trouble of making a scale model of them. Like, they don't exist anymore. They did years ago, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. They don't anymore, but this is what they used to look like. All right, is it focusing? Look at that. See this, this is the lid. This part would come off right here, okay? Look at that. This is a scale model. It's about a 1 to 1.00421 scale. And it's just amazing. They really went out in style. They should have called it the Pharaoh's tick, huh? Anyways, so y'all can come around and look at that later if you want. I'll be over at the table out in the conference hall. And also one other special thing, I was talking to someone else who actually is really into ticks and mites yesterday, and they let me borrow these, which they happened to come across. Check this out. All right, camera, over here. Look at these. These are actual, now over here. I'm just gonna zoom in. These are actual tick eggs, or they could actually just be Sculpey clay painted to look like it, but they're very, very convincing. Because I've done some research that shows this is actually what they look like, all right? And I've had them for over 3.5 days now, and they haven't hatched, which is leading me to think that maybe they're not real, but maybe I should start sitting on them or sleeping on them at night, and maybe they will start hatching. So I don't know, but I'm pretty excited to have them. So, oops. Anyways, I just want to thank you all for joining me here today. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. I'll be around, I think for the rest of the week till I'm going to Indianapolis to do this. I'm just doing a whole circuit. More people got to know about Mozart's tick, you know. Make sure you shower. Use don't use regular shampoo. You need to use delousing shampoo every day, okay? You don't know what's crawling in your skin, what could be hiding in your follicles, all right? There could be like stuff in you everywhere. Like, ugh. They say space is the final frontier, but I feel like our own microcosms is the true, terrifying, uncharted territory. We're just so woefully ignorant of what's going on, you know, under our very tongue, in our very hairdo. So be safe out there, in there. All right, bye.